Test 1, 2, 3. Hello everybody, how's your week going? How's everybody doing today? We got a special episode tonight. Yeah, we're not going to talk about wireless tech today. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, mark it down in your history book. We're going to talk about, it's related to radio. It's a different topic, but there's some interest in amateur radio. And since I have my license, and some of the people here in the community actually has their license. Carlos is actually studying to get his license. So I figure I'd do a live stream here and bring you guys information, see how you can get involved if you're interested. Some people don't even know what it is, so they you don't know what it is. How do you know if you even like it? So you just need somebody to show you how to get resources. And I'll tell you what, there's thousands and thousands of YouTube channels on amateur radio. Thousands. I mean, they're everywhere. So I am going to make a YouTube channel for the amateur radio side, and I'm going to keep this one here on the wireless tech side. And we're probably going to do some pretty neat stuff. Just do live streams with amateur radio people. Just come in and say, hey, yeah, I have 10 screens I can fill. So yeah, we'll just have a live stream amateur radio party and just bring in people and talk about different things, and kind of like what we do here with tech. So I'm not going to copy what everybody else does, do training and teaching and this and that. It's going to be more like a fun thing to do. So look for that to be coming soon at the end of this broadcast here, or this live stream. I'll give you guys the link. There's no subscribers on that channel, but if you want to subscribe to it and watch it and learn more about amateur radio and see what goes on, you can do that. So this is not going to be a very long live stream, and it's not going to be 3-4 hours either. I'm just going to pretty much show everybody what's out there and what it's about. And then maybe we'll do a little after party. Maybe I'll go live stream a second time, and then maybe we can do our normal stuff, because this live stream is for all ages. So yes, so please do not cuss, keep it G-rated, all that kind of stuff, because there's a very good chance that there's children or teenagers watching, because there's a lot of youth out there, a lot of kids and teenagers that are getting involved in amateur radio. It's a pretty cool hobby. Some people ain't interested in gaming or sports. They want something else to do. So this is something alternate they can do. And if you're already an amateur radio family, you know, mom has their license, dad has their license, you know, this is a good way for the kids to get involved and get their license as well. So that's what tonight's live stream is going to be about. So, Baby Yoda, I know you're really good at the moderating stuff, so yeah, be ready for you to moderate anything that's cussing, anything bad, all that stuff. So, you got to keep this one G-rated here, so, because I don't want YouTube to take this thing down after all of our hard work, you know, of course, so, for sure. Okay. Oh yeah, and then here's where I actually commented from my other channel. Yeah, that's the channel it's going to be. There's and that's my call sign. K4KWF is my call sign too. So there you go, Baby Yoda. Don't forget to hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here. Plus, don't forget to share the content. I'm telling you what, Baby Yoda, you're the number one moderator for sure for the SMT Nation. You're always taking care of me, Carlos's channel, SMT's channel, all three of our channels. You're there always backing us up. We appreciate that very, very, very much. Hello, MS. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, welcome to the show. Yeah, I forgot to ask, is the audio okay? I checked it before I went live, but just to make sure. Is the live audio good? The picture's good? We're streaming in 1080p. I have Comcast, so I can't promise you that it's not going to like crash or hiccup or anything like that until I get some AT&T fiber here. That's right. That's why I need some AT&T fiber. PA Tech is here. Oh, it's PA Speed Testing Adventures now. Yeah, I got to get that right. Yeah, cool name, man. Wesley's here. What's up? How you doing? Michael's here. Before we had cell phones, we depended on CB radios, just like the truck drivers. Exactly right. And also amateur radio. Yeah. So a fun fact is there was VHF repeaters, and if you're an amateur radio operator, you had access to those repeaters. And guess what those repeaters had? A thing called a phone patch. Yeah, they actually had a landline phone line ran up to the repeater, and it was connected to the repeater. And you use your touch tone pad and do a sequence of numbers on your radio, and it would activate the phone patch, and then you would dial the phone number, and then it would connect you to the police department, and you would say, yeah, there's a crash out here on highway such and such. We need paramedics and firefighters and the police here. Okay, we're sending them out there, because there's no cellular service. And back in the day, there was no cellular service. It wasn't even existent. So there was no LTE, 3G, 2G, phone call service. There was nothing. It was payphones, home phones, your landlines, and that's it. And the interconnected amateur radio repeaters. So that was like a lifesaver back there in the day. And also we had CBs. So everybody had CBs in their cars. And you had a base station CB that would cover a certain area. They had a thing called REACT back in the day. So basically what it was is you have a whole bunch of people on CBs traveling the road just looking for people broke down, crashes. They're kind of like the road patrol, you know, kind of like that. So the road safety patrol was what they did. And if they found somebody broke down, they'd call back on the CB to the base station, and then they would call the highway patrol or tow truck or whatever they need for the people. And that was kind of like the early on thing that actually helped the police, because, you know, you have lots of roads out there with no payphones nearby. No, I mean, if you crash, you're dead. You don't have no help coming. So yes, before we had networks and stuff, we had CB radios, and we had amateur radio. For sure. Yeah, thank you for commenting that, because that is true. Archie says, I was interested in amateur radio license until I was told my name, phone number, and address had to be made public. Well, that's not true. That's not true anymore. No, the only thing that's public information is your address. And guess what? There's a thing called a post office box. That's right. You can, when you do your license, you can register with the post office box. So then your privacy is all contained. So you don't have to worry about it. And, as far as a phone number, even if you had to put a phone number, you could actually make a Google Voice number up and use that for your number. So, and then that would keep your actual number private and stuff. So, yeah, there's a way to do it. And, yeah, so if you go on my license right now and you look up my address right now on my amateur radio license, guess where it goes to? It goes to my old address. I haven't went and got a P.O. box yet. But I'm going to get a P.O. box here very shortly, and then I'm going to update my license. It's going to show that new P.O. box. But you know what? It's a shame you have to do that because you got Pinocchios out there in the world that's, and bullies and cyber bullies and all that tries to hate and bash people. So it's a shame that you have to worry about your private information. So, yeah, in 2022, you have to worry about that. So no fear. If you want to get your amateur racing license, yes, you can get your license and your personal information won't be exposed unless you want it to, of course. So there you go. And that was 10 years ago. So yeah, lots of things have changed. Yeah, you can use a P.O. box now. Let's see. Yep, big look there. Flexing the muscles there, Baby Yoda. All right. No nonsense, no phone numbers need given to the FCC. That's right. Absolutely. Just use the P.O. box. Exactly. There you go. Maybe I was told wrong. It's stated in the class I took. Yep. Well, your address is listed. So, but there's a way around it. And if you go and look at a lot of these licensed people, they're the people who are concerned about their stuff. Some people don't just care, They say, oh, okay, yeah, you want to come to my house? You want to rob me? Then, I got, Mr. You-know-what there waiting for you. So, yeah, it's called the protection unit. So, yeah, some people are not really worried about that. All right, Baby Yoda says 10-4, good buddy. That's so CB talk. On amateur radio talk, that'll be Roger or affirmative or something like that. That's what they say. Audio and video is tremendous. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. MS says, appreciate the G rating tonight. Got a bunch of young folks watching. See, I actually predicted that. I kind of figured that. And when I put this out on Twitter, I actually put this out on a hashtag for amateur youth. So that's why I knew that there's a potential for people to come. So appreciate the G rating. You're very welcome. Got a bunch of young folks watching. They will subscribe soon. Everything running through 5 megahertz of Band 71. Big hardest this weekend in New Hampshire. Oh, Hamfest? Oh, big Hamfest this weekend, New Hampshire. Okay, yeah, New Hampshire. Beautiful country up there. That's awesome. Yep. Yeah, and the youth don't want to subscribe to this channel here. I'm gonna give you. Let me just go ahead and give it to you now. So I'll give you the other channel here. I'll post the link in here for everybody. This is the other channel. So that's the one you want to subscribe to. It's gonna be G-rated, 18 and up, 1 and up, all ages. So anything that's going to be on that channel is going to be strictly amateur radio stuff and all that stuff. So there you go. So you're good to go on that. So let's see. RFK Keen Pox 607. Did you hear about the news about Elon, Tesla, and Twitter? Yep, I heard all about that stuff. Long live Band 71. Oh no. Yeah, well, I guess it's better than nothing. Got to have LTE. Yeah, I know they're putting 5G on it, but it's fake. But still, it has a purpose. It makes connections happen, and we can't be mad about that. Oh, Hardest Hamfest in Deerfield, New Hampshire. Gotta love autocorrect. Oh yeah. Okay, I kind of figured that. I kind of figured he was meaning a Hamfest. All right, well, awesome to the Hamfest. That's awesome. I was kind of hoping to go to Hamvention this year in Dayton, but unfortunately, I can't get off work because I'm working almost 7 days a week sometimes. So, and plus, the pandemic thing just ended, so I don't know how good the turnout is on the vendors and all that, so I don't know. I'm going to give it one more year, see how things go, and save up. I'm gonna save up some money. I'm gonna put a couple grand away just for that trip, and then tell my boss, hey, you gotta hire some extra people, because next year I'm taking that whole 2 weeks off. So vacation, man. Yeah, I love Hamfest. I just love going around, seeing new products, and just meeting new people, old friends, and everything. So I used to live in Dayton, Ohio, so I used to actually work at the Hamfest every year when I was with the Dayton Amateur Radio Club. So I actually worked there. So, and when I go back now, I actually go back and volunteer. So I volunteer with the communications. It's called Talk In, where you get on the repeaters and you help people that's lost trying to find the hamvention. You know, so we're just the eyes and ears out there for everybody and give them updates on traffic jams and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very fun. And when you work at Hamvention, you know, you volunteer your 6 hours. I think it's 6 hours, yeah. Yeah, 6 or 8 hours, something like that. You actually get a free ticket in. You don't have to pay to get in. And you get a free hat. So you get a free Dayton Hamvention hat. And then you get special parking too. You can park up in the committee worker parking. So that's pretty good benefits to get them for free. And the best thing is, when you get that ticket in that barrel for the drawings, there's over $100,000 worth of prizes in the barrel that you can win. So just going to Hamvention, putting your ticket in that barrel, you have a chance to win lots of money of merchandise that's donated by the vendors for amateur radio stuff. And I'll tell you right now, amateur radio is not a very cheap hobby. If you think a $1,500 phone, if you think this is expensive, $1,500 for the top of the line Samsung Galaxy S22 Note. Well, I call it a Note. It's Ultra, but it's really a Note. Yeah, well, the walkie-talkies are not that bad. Yeah, you can get this for $300. $300 is not that bad. But when you start getting the shortwave equipment, you could go up to like $6,000 on a radio. Now my radio is $600. I got the cheapest one, the entry level one. It works just fine for the hobby, no problem. And then if you want to get more power out than 100 watts, you want to go up to 1,500 watts, then it gets more expensive. I just bought an amplifier for $2,700, the Mercury 3S amplifier, and that was $2,700. So you can see how the hobby can get really expensive. Antennas, towers, all kinds of stuff. It can be very, very expensive. Paul Mitchell says, when I key up on CB, it also takes 5 megahertz. Yes. Do you have a beard? Joking. Every operator I know has a beard. Yeah, it seems like the amateur radio community has a lot of older people and they have beards. Yeah, that's true. Even this guy here, which I'm going to introduce you here in a second. Yeah, he's got a beard. And he's been an amateur radio operator for a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna introduce you to him here in a minute. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got the far best training class you could do. If you watch his videos on amateur radio, technician license, you'll pass, guaranteed. You watch that. He has another set of videos that's for general license. You watch all them, and you take the study, test where you just practice the questions, which I'll show you guys here soon. And then even with the extra class, he's got all the series in there, and I think he does a really great job of explaining all the questions that's on the FCC test. So you don't have to have an IQ of 200 to get your amateur radio. There's lots of people out there with an IQ of 88 to 90 that has their amateur radio license. So it's very easy to get and learn, and there's always people to help you out there. There's like thousands and thousands and thousands of amateur radio operators out there that's willing to help you. There's radio clubs. Every county in the United States has a radio club. So you can even go to a radio club, attend the meetings. They have subjects and topics every week. They do special event stations. They practice. They go to a park, set up radio stuff, and they talk all over the world. And then we have field day coming up. So another perfect opportunity. We'll talk about that soon here. Field day's coming up, and that's in June. You can go to the nearest field day operation to your location, and you can actually see amateur radio in action. Basically, they set up all the stuff, and then you can go even without your license. They'll let you get on the radio and actually use it and talk it and see if you like it. because as long as there's a licensed amateur radio operator there with you, person with no license can actually operate the equipment there, because they're in control and they're monitoring what you're doing and making sure you follow all the rules and everything. So that's a perfect chance to go out there and practice. So that's coming up. I have to look up the exact when it is, the field day. But yeah, we'll look at it up here in a second. I think it's the end of June. I think is when it is. So, and my club that I belong to in Florida Keys, we're actually setting up a really cool station too. We have the Sheriff's Department communications van at our access. We have radios in there for that. So we're going to have an air-conditioned Sheriff's Department communications van that we're going to use for our field day. And we got a generator on board, so we're going to be on generator power. It has a telescopic mast on it, so we can hang antennas from it. We even have a trailer. We have a 90-foot crank-up tower trailer that we can put all kinds of stuff on, hang dipoles from it. We could, if they even bought a beam antenna, a great big beam antenna like on for 40 meters, we could probably put it on that thing. But it's never been raised to 90 foot. So at field day this year down here in the Keys, we're going to raise the thing all the way up to 90 feet on that little trailer. So we're lucky. Our club is very well connected with the Sheriff's Department. Like, we're all connected like big time, because the Sheriff's Department actually funded all the money for our repeaters in the Keys, except for the DMR repeaters, the digital mobile radio repeaters. Those were done by one of our members. He actually funded all of them. But he also got assistance with getting them up and locations of getting them up, because you got to get repeaters. You got to get them up high up on a tower, just like on cell phones and stuff. You got to get them up high so they can get out and you can get further. Because if you're using a walkie-talkie on VHF or UHF, you need a high antenna up there, because a low antenna is not going to get you. It's not going to work very good. And walkie-talkie only works a couple miles. So when you use the repeaters, it broadcasts it everywhere. And now with DMR, you can connect the repeaters to the internet, and then you can go worldwide. So like right now, I can go on my radio right now and talk to somebody in Australia, which we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a test here. Let me get the channel up here and see what happens. Here, let's go to Australia. I'm gonna key it up and just see if there's anybody talking right now. Let me find Australia. And with DMR, you can just talk. You can talk to anybody in any state. I mean, it's a really great network. It's really cool. So you just go on here, you just key it up like this, and let's see if there's anybody talking. You never know. We might hear some Australians talking. This camera don't focus, and I can't cuss at it right now because this is G-rated. Darn camera. There we go. Well, let's see if some Aussies come up here in a minute. I'll just leave that on right there. See if some Aussies come up. I have a DMR hotspot here, so it's connected straight to that, right through the internet, and going right down to the Aussies down there. So, all right. So yeah, Siova's here. Hello there. Welcome to the show. And there's the link there. Now we're actually broadcasting live on both channels right now. We're broadcasting on RFK Tech channel and the K4KW Florida Keys channel for the new amateur radio channel. So we're actually broadcasting on both channels right now. So, and of course, I didn't look, make sure. Let's see, nobody's posted anything over in there. Of course, there's nobody even subscribed yet. So, well, it says there's one person watching. Oh, that's probably me watching. Yeah, that's right, because I got up here on the screen. So, yep. Nobody subscribed here yet, which not surprising, but that's okay. All right, so there's your link. Let's see here. Alternate realities here. Packet radio talk. Yeah, we actually have digital modes on amateur radio where you can actually type a message from one place to another place. So we have that. I'm going to cancel my Twitter account if Elon Musk turns Twitter into free speech. No rules, no laws, no platform. Well, yeah, that can get kind of ugly. There's good and the bad and the ugly with all that stuff. Collective Rob says, hey, Ricky, how's it going tonight? Glad I caught your stream tonight. What we learning about tonight, and what's your opinion on the Q1 for T-Mobile? Oh, yeah, well, if you was in Sneed's live stream, you already saw my opinion. Yeah. So maybe after this live stream here, I'll make another live stream, and then we can go wild and crazy on all that kind of topic. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm just doing this quick thing here for the amateur radio thing, and then we'll end this live stream, and then I'll probably just go right back live again, just and we do our normal thing. We can go on there for another couple hours and talk about wireless tech and just go all crazy. So I will not have the police knowing my door because Twitter allows questionable material. Yep. CBA radios with landline telephones are still needed. Well, you can't put a landline radio or landline telephone connected to a CB radio. That's not allowed. You can do it with amateur radio, but you can't do it with CBs. Cell phone service is still spotty in rural areas of America. Yeah, well, this is another reason for people in the rural area to get involved with amateur radio, because you'll have access. And you don't have to use a handheld radio. You can actually use a 50-watt mobile radio with a 5/8 wave gain antenna on your roof, and you can get 30 miles range on that radio to the FM repeaters. And then you'll have access to the phone patches. So if you're in the rural area, I highly recommend that you get your amateur radio license. And with the way the world's going now, you never know when something might happen, where we have a big blackout, the solar cycles are happening. We may have a X10 class flare and might knock out the power grid to the whole country. And you know what? Those people with solar power and backup radios and all that stuff, those are the people that's going to be able to communicate. And that's another reason why we have amateur radio. We're backup for the police, fire, and EMS and all that stuff. So we help them during disasters and everything. So let's see. Good evening. Justin's here. What DMR handheld radio do you recommend? Well, I recommend this one right here. The Anytone 878 or the Anytone 578, which is the mobile version. These are the best DMR radios out there. There's Baofangs and other kind of brands out there, but they're not very good. They're the cheap Chinese. It's just like buying let's see, what phone can I get? And so this is like having an Anytone radio, having a Samsung or an iPhone, okay? Don't want to leave iPhone out because people be mad at me and say, oh, you left iPhone out, Ricky. Shame on you. Now, if you go and get you a cheap, Xiaomi phone or Oppo phone or, OnePlus, the OnePlus 10 supposedly is a lot better than the past Chinese models that they had. But you know what I mean. So there's bad versions of cell phones that's made in China, and then there's good ones. And the same thing with DMR. Now there's other digital modes too. You got D-Star, and you got the ICOM has their own digital. Kenwood has their own digital. So some of these other companies, but you have to buy their radio to use it. The nice thing about DMR, you don't have to buy a certain branding of radio. You can buy any radio you want. And there's other brands too. There's other Chinese brands that are okay. You have TYT, you got a couple other ones out there. There's like 3 or 4 brands that are okay, but out of all of them, the Anytone works the best. And it's only $300. It's not that bad. It's not going to break the bank. All right, sounds good. So we're getting our questions away, saying hi to everybody. We got 14 people in here. That's really good. I got my family radio service license for the city. Oh, you mean GMRS license, General Mobile Radio Service. That's another. It's a UHF radio that you can get a license for, and you can actually build your own repeater, a UHF repeater, and put it up. You can make it a private use or public use, so you can do that. I mean GMRS. There you go. Yep. See, I know what you meant. It's been a while since I've been on local repeaters, though. Okay. Central California Police Department said that the last Verizon outage in the western states knocked out their communications. Yep, see, that's the thing. You have a communications outage, phone calls not going to work. It would be nice, if the phone system went out, you have no service, but guess what you can do? You can jump on the radio and you can call for help. Because even if there's not a phone patch sitting in there, especially on DMR, there's a talk group in here. It's called USA. There's a USA talk group. I can key up on this USA talk group, and it keys up every repeater in the United States. And all I got to do is say, hey, I'm at this location. I was in a crash. Can somebody call help for me? Can somebody get help? And so that's what they can do. They can get help. So it really makes it nice. All right, so we're caught up in the comments. Everybody said hi there. So let's show you what we got going on here. Let me get this. There's a nice little PowerPoint presentation here that it's not very long. It's just kind of short. That ARRL has that kind of sums things up, and we're just going to go over that. Where did it go? Okay, here it is. Let me go on the screen. Let me get rid of this banner off here. Oop, wrong one. Yeah, I forgot to say too, I do have a PayPal link here if you want to support the channel there. You can send PayPal donation. And thanks, I don't have it up on the screen here where I can show you who's donated, but I have several people donate to the channel, and I appreciate that. And we're going to be having a giveaway pretty soon. We're going to be giving away a gift card here in a couple weeks. Oh, somebody just keyed up in Southeast United States on DMR. All right, so as you see, I hit 1,000 subscribers, but it's not because nobody actually subscribed to me. Pinocchio bought views, watch time hours, and subscribers. So he did that on purpose to just mess my channel up. So I'm really still at 800 subs or 900 subs or 850. I'm probably like realistically around 850 subs or so. So as soon as we go up a couple more hundred subs where I'm sure that they're real subs that sub to the channel, we're going to give away $50. And then later on, when we know that I really did hit 1,000 subscribers, probably when it's, because what he just added was like 400 or 500. So it's going to be like 1,500. So probably when we get to 1,500 subscribers is when it's really going to be 1K. And then we're still going to do the $600 giveaway. It's just going to be delayed because of the interference. You know, Pinocchio thinks he's funny and he can just trash people's channels and stuff like that. So that's what cyber bullies do. So that's what we're doing with that. So that way nobody gets mad saying, oh, well, you promised to do giveaways and you didn't do any giveaways. And see, that's another thing he's probably going to throw up there in my face too. But you know what? You know, there's only one thing to know about Pinocchio. When you lie, your nose gets longer. That's it. All right, so here we go. Oh, hi, Gene. Welcome to the channel. Good to see you tonight. All right, so ARRL is the Amateur Radio League. It's the National Association for, it's a worldwide radio club is basically what it is. And they have lots of information out there. You can become a member and all kinds of good stuff. And you can learn a lot of stuff about amateur radio. So this is their little presentation here. What is amateur radio? Now, amateur radio, also known as ham radio, which I hate that term. I don't know why many years ago they come up with the term ham radio. It's amateur radio is what it is. It's amateur. Well, when you say amateur, it almost sounds like you're saying hamateur, you know, when you say amateur. So I guess that's where they come up from. So instead of saying amateur radio, they just shortened it up and said ham radio. You know, well, I think it should have been am radio. You know, just leave the H off, because ham comes from a pig. Ham is what you eat for Christmas. Ham is what you put on your sandwich, you know. So the fact that they're taking a piece of meat from food and relating it to amateur radio, which has nothing to do with it, completely drives me crazy. Of course, you know, I'm borderline OCD, so you understand me. Just like when people are saying C-band, 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 when it's really S-band, and it's really N77 is the radio band, you know, that kind of stuff drives me crazy. So that's the way I am. You know, I'm just a weird person. I can't help myself. But amateur radio is also known as ham radio. It's a popular service and hobby that enables so many activities, from public service to scientific experimentation to just plain old fun. And then here's just a demonstration at some kind of amateur radio convention that you know, you can go around and you can see how they display things and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, so it's all around you. It's everywhere. It's in the whole world. Every country, just about every country. I mean, there's some countries don't even have electric, so it's kind of hard to have amateur radio. When, you know, there's still some third world countries that really don't have much amateur radio. So, but most of the populated places where you got people living, where you can buy money for you got freedom that you can go buy equipment, you can get your license, you can go on the air and all that. So those areas around the world, you can do it. So there's estimating here 740,000 people in the U.S. and 1.75 million in the whole world. So that's what the estimation is. So 740,000 people, that's not very many. And a lot of that 740,000 is not that active. And probably out of only 740,000 of that, only probably, I would say, 30% of that number actually has their general license or above so that they can use shortwave. So when you get your entry-level technician license, you're limited to 10 meters, which is near the CB band. There's a certain band there, and it's only active when the sunspots go crazy on the sun, and that comes open, and then in summer times it comes open also. So that's the only thing you can talk on the technician license until you get your general license. Then you can talk on all the bands from all the way down right above the AM radio broadcast band all the way up. So that kind of limits things. But it's not and it's not that hard to get your general license. All you got to do is just I'm going to show you how to study, and you can get your license. But you got to go in steps. You have to get your technician license first, then you have to get your general license, and then if you want to go crazy and go get your extra license, which gives you all the privileges on all the frequencies, and it's a title too. It's like, hey, it's almost like a title. It's like, hey, I got look, I got my magenta phone. It's just a title. It's like it's a bragging rights. So there are federally licensed amateur radio operators everywhere, in your neighborhood, in your workplace, and in your schools. So they're everywhere. And you see this picture. Well, I just passed up. See in this picture here, this is probably an example of working in field day. So this is when you practice. You get all your equipment out, you put it on a picnic table, and you put everything. You get your computer out so you can log. I'm going to show you a great logging program that you get, and track all your contacts. I have every record of every person that I've talked to in the whole world since I got my general license like 3 or 4 years ago. So you can see the radios there. So you can see, there's radios there. There's a tuner there that tunes the antenna. So there's the equipment there. So you can see how easy it is. You can just go outside, and then if you really want to get crazy, you can go to Pikes Peak on a mountaintop summit. You can take a backpack radio and a little portable battery, hook up to the battery, set up your antenna on a little mast, and you go on a ridge top somewhere, and you can talk the world from a ridge top. Even on VHF and UHF, you can talk hundreds of miles. So people just like you use amateur radio to communicate without relying on the internet or a cell phone network. And it can go wherever you go. You can hike a trail, climb a mountain, paddle a river, take your radio with you. Outer space. Ham radio has even reached as far as outer space. Ham radio operators can talk to astronauts aboard the International Space Station, talk to other operators through satellites orbiting the Earth, and even bounce their radio signals off the moon and back. So yeah, there's all kinds of neat stuff you can do. So yes, and there's a crossband repeater on the International Space Station right now. So if it flies overhead, you can actually take this anytone radio. Well, you would really need an outside antenna, because you need 50 watts and an outside antenna to really hit the space station really good. Now, my mobile radio in my Jeep, I talk on the International Space Station all the time. You program your radio where you transmit in VHF, and it goes up to the repeater on the International Space Station, and it comes back down on UHF back to the ground. And then you receive it, and you can hear. So I've talked as far as, let's see, where did I talk? Ecuador. I talked to somebody in Ecuador from the space station. So my signal went up to the International Space Station, which was over Mexico, and then the signal came down to him in Ecuador, and then he talked to me back through the repeater in Ecuador up to the space station, then back down to me in Florida. So it's amazing. There's all kinds of amazing stuff you can do with amateur radio. Public service. This is another thing. You can volunteer your time and do public service. You can assist the American Red Cross. They have teams that goes out and does damage assessment from floods and tornadoes. You could be a storm chaser and use amateur radio to communicate and save lives, warn people that, tornado on the ground, all that stuff. So I think there was a poll I just saw on Twitter. I think it said something like 75% of the storm chasers actually have their amateur radio license. So that's pretty incredible. Very high numbers there. So, and then when you're out chasing out in the rural areas, you don't have no cell phone signal. So if something happens, it's nice to get on the radio and say, hey, tornado just hit us, we need help. Very, very true. S.A. Paul says, ARL is a useless remnant of its former self. It does nothing. It does not lobby in D.C. and does not protect spectrum. It does nothing to mitigate noise and interference. Yep, that all is true. The only thing it does is pretty much gives you information. That's all it does. Yeah, they're not really a very strong rallying point. You are correct about that. Hello, Tim. How you doing, buddy? I love to visit the mountains, but I need the infrastructure and amenities that a medium-sized city can offer. Yep, that's very true. And my new TV tuner also has a radio tuner, but I cannot figure it out. So far, I can only get it to pull local TV stations. Yep, the TV thing can be kind of frustrating. And I just heard too they're going to take away the over-the-air TV stations. They're going to encrypt them, so you will not be able to watch TV on your TV antenna outside for free anymore. The TV stations are all going to charge you an access fee. Yeah, isn't that just nice? Just when they got this new digital TV system and they made it so that you can watch TV for free, now they're going to encrypt it and make you pay for it. Crazy. Shaking my head. That makes sense. I watch. I think that's what you meant. Watch Reed Timmer all the time. Most of the areas he goes to never have cell phone. Yep, and he actually broadcasts live too, with the live stream. Yeah, I think Reed Timmer's probably the most famous, most popular storm chaser out there. He's been chasing for many years. I've been following him. I myself am a certified storm chaser, so if I wanted to do it, I could go out west. I could storm. Whatever you see Reed Timmer do, I can do the same thing. So it's a really fun thing to do, is chase tornadoes. You know, I've done it only a couple times in my life. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, very fun. But yeah, you're right about the Reed Timmer. Let's see. Yeah, watch. There you go. Gotcha. All right, so amateur radio service is a valued element of neighborhoods and municipalities in the U.S. In times of disaster, when regular communication channels fail, the amateur radio service works with public service agencies. Yes. And if you live in an area where you got a really good connection, kind of like we do down here, we're just like two buddies, you know. The sheriff's department knows they need us. Now, you could live in a county where they don't think they need you. They have the most high-tech stuff and everything. They think they got all figured out. But unless they've had a disaster happen, they don't know. And you can ask any of these counties in the USA that a hurricane has hit, and I guarantee you one thing. After the first hurricane hit, they became buddies with amateur radio operators because they're the only one who can communicate. They're the backbone. So most places that don't have big disasters, they don't think they need anybody. So, well, if an X10 solar flare hits Earth directed right over top of North America, Canadian power grid's going down, and the northern states power grid's going down. I guarantee it. So an X10 solar flare Earth directed is crazy. If you do a history search on it, back in 1958, I think it was, it's called the Cardington event. It was an X10 solar flare. It actually energized the telephone lines, the telegraph lines. You know, back in the day, 1958, you didn't have cell phones either. You had landline phones and switchboard operators. There were sparks coming out of the switchboard operators because it actually energized all those lines and stuff. So if it can do that to that, can you imagine what it would do to the infrastructure today? The one good thing about it is fiber is actually glass. So you don't have to worry about the magnetic energy from the sun actually hurting the fiber because the fiber is made out of glass. But still, you have junction terminals where it connects and all that kind of stuff. So you still got, and then you got the power grid too. So, you know, anything that's magnetic component, that's what the energy from the sun can mess up. So yeah, you can see the picture there. You can see a picture of a tower in the background here, and you can see all kinds of amateur radio for all different frequency bands for shortwave. And then you got the tower over here on this other side. It's got some VHF, UHF stuff where you can talk long range. So this is pretty cool. So this is probably like American Cross, like headquarters place. And then you see that they probably have also an amateur radio club that probably shares the space and do their club meetings there. They do the radio testing. So in some communities, the Red Cross and the amateur clubs work hand in hand, and the same thing with some sheriff's departments, police departments, fire departments. Sometimes the ham radio clubs are actually held in those places too because they have a really good relationship. It just depends on the county you're at, where you live at. So, yeah, anybody has any questions while we're doing, just post here in the chat. I'm looking over at the chat, so So we'll get your question addressed there at the same time too. All right, so community events. This is the fun part. Such as FEMA, American Red Cross, and the Salvation Army assist emergency communication efforts. Amateurs can also use their radios to volunteer within their communities, provide communications for events like county fairs, parades, and road races. And just recently, we just had down here in the Keys, the 7-mile bridge run. We have a bridge that's 7 miles long. Well, we have a marathon every year, and it just happened in April. They close the bridge down, and everybody signs up to run, and they run from one end of the bridge to the other, 7 miles. And they give prizes and rewards and all that stuff. Well, if somebody like passes out and falls down on the bridge, who's going to get them help? Because if you're in this marathon running, you don't have your cell phone on you. Well, most people don't, because if you're jogging around, you don't want that cell phone to come out of your pocket and land on the ground and break. Unless you're using your watch, you can use your watch that's enabled. You can put your cell phone now on your watch, and you can do that. But just for safety purposes, they asked the amateur radio operators. We put somebody a half a mile, every mile on the bridge, just there, and we have our radios, and we have it all set up. So if anything happens, then we can call and get help. And then the fire department, police department, whoever can come. So it's events like that. So there's many events that you can volunteer with and actually provide service to your community. So it's really pretty cool. Get licensed. That's the first step. Although people get involved with amateur radio for many reasons, they all pass a test to earn the Federal Communications Commission license that shows they have the basic knowledge of the principles of electricity, radio, technology, and operating rules. And that's basically all the test is about. So it just makes sure that you're going to be a good operator, you're not going to break any rules. It's just like getting your driver's license. You go to driver's ed, you learn about the rules of the road, and then you practice driving a car with an instructor, and then you go take your test, and then bam, now you can drive a car. Which is the same thing with amateur radio. And as you see here in the picture, here's some youth right here. Some teenagers being shown how to do amateur radio. And we definitely need more youth in amateur radio, because most of the baby boomers that were amateur radio operators are all getting older and they're passing on. So there's been a huge drop in people. So, and there in the middle aged people, there's not very many middle aged, and most of them in their working age. So they don't have time for the hobby. It's when you retire is when you do the hobby the most. When you retire, most people use amateur radio as something to do when you retire. So when you're a working person, it's kind of hard. So, but me, I manage to work a lot of hours. I do my live stream. I play with amateur radio. So I managed to get it all done. So it just depends on what you want to do. And family life has a lot to do with it too. So sometimes family life, takes over and you don't have time for the hobby. But the nice thing is the license is for 10 years. Only costs $35. So that's basically like $3 a month for 10 years if you break it down. So it's very cheap, and it could save your life, and you could actually help people. So it's a really good thing to do. All right, this knowledge has been practical everyday applications that educators have to use science, technology, engineering, math concepts. Lots of hams got into the hobby as kids and followed their interest in radio to exciting careers as astronauts, engineers, pilots, and more. So having your amateur radio license could actually lead you to get another job. Like if you really get good with the hobby, you could actually get a job being an engineer, kind of like Caleb. Zero Cool. He's got his amateur radio license, and look, he's an engineer for T-Mobile. So that's one thing, and there's many other things. You can be a technician on radio equipment for like police and fire radios, which I've actually did that in the past. I'm actually considered a technician. I don't have all the license for that, but I actually did go out and program radios for the Florida Highway Patrol and all the state agencies for 6 weeks. I went around with my laptops. I had 2 laptops, so one to the portable radio, one to the mobile radio. And I did code plugs. I updated everything, and so having this background actually helped me with the job. And I was getting paid $26 an hour for 6 weeks to do this project, going around just programming radios for the state police and everything. So, as you see, this hobby can lead to a career path. You may like the career path and everything. So, that's pretty awesome. Let's see. Carlos is here. Hello, Carlos. How you doing, buddy? Rick, what's up? On the phone with Chase. Got his booster working. Okay, great, great, great. Yeah, I know he wanted me to help him, but unfortunately, you know, I'm doing this live stream, so I didn't send the link out. But if he gets his stuff working and you're not busy, I can send you guys the link, and you guys can come on here if you want. Because Chase has got his amateur radio license, and he got it when he was 16. So he was actually a teenager when he got his license. So he may want to come in here and tell everybody about what it's like having your amateur radio license when you're a teenager and what good it did for him and everything. And actually, Carlos is studying for his license as well. So we got somebody right here in the YouTube community for Wireless Tech is starting to get his license. So pretty amazing stuff there. Maybe we maybe if we could force Americans to pass the class before they can buy guns. Oh, come on now, Mike. We got to keep this cool here. All right, so back to the slide here. Let's see. Let me send this. I forgot to send the link. Let me send the link to Carlos at least. Let me go on the Twitter. Go on Twitter. Twitter messages. Here, let's send the link to Chase. Since his booster's working, maybe he'll see. He lives in the rural area. He don't have a very good connection, so it's tough for him to try to get on there. If you don't have a good cellular connection, you can't live stream very well. So that's why he got the booster. Okay, let me send. All right, Chase has got the link on his Twitter DM. Let's go to Carlos. Where's Carlos at? Carlos. Here's Carlos. Here we go. There, I sent you the link, Carlos. I don't know if what you're doing, but you want to pop in here, say hi, and see what's up. Tell us how your studying's going for your license. All right, let's see. Is Morse code still a requirement? Good question, alternate reality. Absolutely not. They ditched that years ago, and I'm glad because I hate Morse code. And to force people to know Morse code to get in the hobby was stupid, crazy. They was missing out. There was many people that wanted to get in the hobby, but they had no interest in it, just like me. Now, when I got my license in 1989, I was forced to get Morse code. I had to do 5 words per minute to get my license in 1989. That's right. I had to do Morse code in 5 words per minute and pass, and I did. I passed it. And then after that, I took my that was called a novice license, which they did away with. Then they come out with a technician. And the technician was give you a little bit more privileges. And then they got rid of the technician of having to have Morse code. And then it became a technician no code license. And then you could get your license without knowing code. But then if you wanted to upgrade to general class to talk on the shortwave frequencies, you had to know 13 words per minute of Morse code. That kept many people off the airwaves. So then finally they got rid of Morse code for the general license. And when they did that 4 years ago, I actually went and took the test and passed, and I didn't have to know Morse code, and I have been a general class operator for 4 years now. And now I've actually talked to like 65 different countries now on shortwave, on HF, high frequency radio is what they call it. So, very good question. Now you don't have to know Morse code. So general and extra are no code. That is completely right. The Morse code requirement is completely out of. It's not required no more. So now there's 3 licenses. There used to be 5 classes. There used to be novice, technician, general, advanced, and then extra. The advanced just give you a few more frequencies, and the test wasn't so complex. But now they did away with novice. They did away with advanced. So now we have 3 classes. We got technician, general, and my Comcast is crapping out. So hopefully we don't lose connection here. Yeah, stupid Comcast. And then you got the extra class. So that's your 3 classes now. The general and extra can talk on the shortwave frequencies. The technician can use the VHF, UHF, you know, the upper channels and repeaters and DMR and all that stuff. And then you also have access to 28 megahertz, which is right above the CB band, which you can talk around the whole world on that as well. But it's not as busy. Let's see. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, so communication. The ham radio frequencies begin below the AM broadcast band and extend into the extremely high microwave frequencies. Ham radio operators use these frequencies to communicate with each other. So here you see a setup here. You got a solar panel, you got a battery, and then you got a radio. And you can actually, you can go anywhere and you can talk. It's pretty amazing. That's right. General Extra no code. Thank you, Baby Yoda. All right, contesting. Yes, and they actually have amateur radio contests where you can compete against other amateurs and see who can talk to the most people over a certain period of time. It's pretty cool. And there's some people that's like gotten like lots and lots and lots of contacts and stuff. So they have contests all the time. It's really pretty cool. So here you see this person here. They got their headset on. They got the microphone. They got their computer for logging the contacts. They got the radio set up. They got a portable antenna set up. And it looks like here they're maybe in a park or somewhere. And when there's a lot of people that does the parks on the air. That's one thing we're going to start doing more down here in the Keys. We're going to do state parks on the air. That's a thing where you can set up a station and broadcast, and people can collect all the parks around the country, and they can get awards for talking to all parks in all 50 states. Now me, I just reached my 50 state award for talking in all 50 states in the USA. North Dakota was my last state. I talked to every state but North Dakota. It was the hardest one to get. I just finally got it. So I've actually, as an amateur radio operator, spoke to one person in each of the 50 states in the USA. And right now, I'm only at 65 countries right now. I'm going to show you the list here in a minute. But, you know, it takes time. So using microphone, Morse code, or even interfacing a radio with a computer, you know, there's a thing called FT8, which is a digital mode where it connects one amateur radio to another amateur radio using digital coded messages. And then you can communicate that way, which I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not really into that because myself, I'd rather talk to people with your voice over the air. I just think it's a lot more fun and cooler and everything like that. Hello there, TJ. Welcome to the live stream here. Michael says, without Morse code, I guess our government encrypts military. Yeah, the military uses encryption. They sure do. Let's see. Everybody saying hi. Hi, Gene. Hi, hi. Hi, hi. Hi, hi, everybody. Yeah. Okay. So, send data, text, or images. Some compete in contests trying to make the most radio contacts with a certain time frame. There you go. Okay, here. Next line. Technology. Amateur radio has been around for over 100 years. That's right, everybody. 100 years it's been around, for a long, long time. And the technology behind it continues to evolve and advance every day. Yes, the technology. The radios are getting better. They're able to filter out noise and interference and all that kind of stuff. And the amplifiers have gotten better. Back in the day, we used to have tube-type amplifiers. Now we have solid-state amplifiers. That's really, really good. Yes, I'm sorry about that, Gene. The stream is choppy. My Comcast is going crazy. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about it. Even if I switched over to Verizon, it'd still be choppy because the Verizon upload is not very fast here. So not until we get some N77 here, I'm going to be switching to Verizon fixed wireless access until my AT&T fiber comes here next year. So that's when Moose says it's coming. So my neighborhood's coming next year. There. Okay, it just fixed itself. There. It should be better now. I like StreamYard. It actually tells me now when my internet's bogging down. So sorry about that. All right. So in this picture you see they got a communications van they got set up. You see red and blue lights on it. So this is actually kind of like what we have, you know, a sheriff's department communications van. So they can use it for a command post for the sheriff's department, and you can also use it for amateur radio as well. It's a dual purpose unit. So they have that set up here. They got a little trailer with the antennas equipment. Look, they got a little pole, a push-up pole they put up with a rotator on it, and it rotates this. This is a directional beam antenna. And then you can point this in different directions and enhance the signal. So this is how easy you can set up a communications, and you can talk all the way around the world with this. So with this antenna and 100 watts, you can completely, as long as the the radio frequency conditions are right. Now each band depends from lower frequency to higher frequency depends on if it's daytime. So the lower frequencies are for nighttime. The upper frequencies are for daytime, because the propagation of the atmosphere changes from between day and night. So, and it also depends on the sun. If the sun activity is high, then it's hard to talk on the upper frequencies. When the sun activity is high, it's easier to talk on the upper frequencies. But when sun activity is low, it's really hard to talk on the upper frequencies. So, and when you start taking the classes, you'll learn all that. So, this is just an introduction to amateur radio, so I can't really go on here and explain everything. I've already been on here for an hour, so we're trying to get this going up here really quick so we don't make this into a very long live stream. All right, so new ways to explore. Amateurs are always finding new ways to explore amateur radio, experimenting with digital applications of the technology through things like coding, mobile apps, and drones. Yep, that's right. And just like with me, with my drone, you can attach a radio transmitter to it and do like a little crossband repeater to it and go up. Do that. You can fly balloons, put transmitters on it. You can do all kinds of neat things. So the technology is really cool. So in this picture here, it looks like father and son learning about amateur radio, and there's a typical shack. Everybody has a ham shack, and basically it's just either a empty bedroom, or sometimes it's actually a little shack you build out in the backyard. It's separate from the house, and you put all your stuff in there. And sometimes you do that when you're married, because when you're married, the girlfriend or wife, they don't want all that noisy radio stuff in the house. So, and to tell you the truth, amateur radio is more of a men's hobby than it is a woman's hobby. Although nowadays there's a lot more women getting involved, and a lot more youth getting involved, but it's basically over the years been a man's kind of hobby. So that's the thing. So if you got a wife that doesn't like all that noise and all those wires and the eyesore of all this stuff in there, a lot of times they say, well, if you want amateur radio, you got to build a shack in your backyard, and you can go out there and play radio. You ain't doing it in my house. So yeah, that's crazy that even happened. But so you got ham shacks, and you got a dedicated room or office that you can put all your radio stuff in there. So, all right. So your first steps to getting on the air. Okay, there's actually a book you can get. You can buy this book, or you can just go online and get the digital copy and read it. The ARRL Ham Radio License Manual will guide you as you get started in the hobby, as you select your equipment, set up your first station, and make your first contact. So they have books out there, and like I said, we got videos out there you can do. Here's another example of somebody just parked out here, put a portable antenna out in the middle of nowhere, and you can talk all over the world. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let me show you this. Okay, so this guy here, his name is Dave Kassler. His call sign is K0 KE. Well, there we go. KE0OG. Yeah, when you get your license, you actually get assigned a call sign, and you can actually customize it. You can pick a call sign you want, just like mine. I picked mine. Mine's K4KWF. The KWF stands for Key West, Florida. Since that was down here in the Keys, so that's why I picked that. But you can actually, like, if you can pick your initials. Like, if your initials are JWB, that's what your name is, first name, middle name, and last name. You can actually get your call sign that matches that. Or like Chase. Chase did his N8AXE. AXE, like, he's a volunteer firefighter, so he has an axe for firefighting. So he just, he picked that. So you could do all kinds of neat stuff with the hobby. You can pick your own call sign. That's the beauty of it. So, but this is the site you want to go to. I'll post the link in here. This is actually the first set of videos to watch. You can watch these videos one at a time and get your technician license. So if you watch these, you can watch them over and over again, and then you can take the practice test and then get your license. So this is a really good channel. So you can subscribe to his channel, like his videos. He's got 7,000 views in there. I forget, he's got 17,000 subscribers. So yeah, he does good. And there's a couple other channels out there that also does the technician, general, and license too. So this is just one of many. So I kind of watched his stuff. He did a really good job at it. It wasn't really too painful to watch. So That's the trouble with watching videos. You know, they got to be fun and entertaining, and that's why people like watching my Wireless Tech channel, because I am crazy and make you guys laugh and all that. And the thing is, if you can't laugh and have fun, don't why do it? So even during field day, we always have a blast, have fun. We barbecue at field day. We're going to do that this year as well. We're gonna barbecue. We're gonna play radio. It's gonna be awesome. So there's the channel. And let's see. Let me find the practice study guide. Okay, so practice study test for technician. Okay. Let me get that so you can have that link as well. There's an app on your phone you can do too. Let me see. Let me see which one I have on here. The best one I found was, I think it was just called Amateur Radio. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this is Roy Watson N1 ZTL. That's the one I use. Okay, so here. Let me find his on here. And there's an app on your phone. You can download this app and do it straight from the app, or you can do it from a web browser. All right, here, let me find his website here. Oh, where'd it go? I just put it in there. N1 ZTL. N1 ZTL. Well, thanks, Google. You're showing me every result except for what I put in. That's what I hate about that. Roy Watson. Yep, this is it. Yeah, here we go. I found it. Here, let's pull it up here. Okay, so here. Let me get to the main menu here. This is not the... This is the general test. Let's see. All you gotta do is just register your account and all that kind of stuff. So let me go to... Just trying to find the home page here. Oh, this isn't actually the site, is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, this is for the apps here. See here? Technician, general, and here's the questions. See, technician, general, extra. There's all three of them here. Okay, so, and you can, yeah, here you go. This is for iPhone. Okay, where's the? Yeah, this is just a third-party app that's sending me there. Okay, let me. Let me find the direct link for him. Good old Google. That's just some kind of search thing that's like trying to find. I want to actually go to his site, not over some. Yeah, Google just really sends you to everything but what you really want. Oh, let me put his name in here. Maybe I can find it. Roy Watson. Yeah, I've used a couple of the apps, and the one that Roy has here seems to be the best one. Actually, I don't think he has a website because I keep searching for a website. I haven't found a website. This is just Google Play, basically. This is the Play Store. This is where you can get the app. I'll at least get this to you guys, so you can look it up. But it's made by Roy Watson. It's called Ham Radio Exam. Here, let me do a search for Ham Radio Exam. Maybe that'll come up. Come on. Radio exam. Okay, ham radio exam. Here we go. Pass ham radio exam on the first try. Yeah, there's several different ones out there. This one's a pretty good one here too. Here. Yeah, this one's actually pretty good too. I've actually used this one as well. This one, like if you don't want to do it on your phone, you want to do it on your computer. This is the one you want to do on your computer, and it actually remembers where you last left off to in your practice. And so there's a couple ways that you can go. So there you can go on YouTube. You can watch the classes on it. Learn about amateur radio. There's practice guides. You can download that on your phone. So when you're just bored, you can sit there and go through the questions. So what it is, how it works with the test is let's say there's 250 questions. What they do is they pick one question out of each section, because there's a whole bunch of sections, like 15, 20 questions per section. And then they pick one question out of each one, and then you get a 35 question test out of 250. That's how they do it. And it's random too, so you don't know what question you're going to get. You may take the test one day and you get these 35 questions. Next time you come, you get these 35 questions. So it prevents people from, if there's only 35 questions, you can actually memorize those 35 questions and take your test and pass it. So that's why they did this, is so that people can't memorize it, get to the class that easy, and then just go out there and not know the rules and regulations, not know how to do the hobby right, and then make it horrible for everybody else. So that's why they do it that way. So there you go. There is some places there. Any other questions? Let's see. On YouTube, Exploring with Josh, he visited and did a video documentary on the abandoned military base, Ace High, Italy. Oh, okay. All right, so does anybody have any questions? I know we've been on here for an hour and 14 minutes. I just wanted to give everybody an introduction to amateur radio. Let's see. Any other questions anybody might have? I'm trying to think of any other stuff I can show you guys. Oh, I know what I was going to show you. Okay, here we go. Oh, totally forgot about this. Okay, let me show you this. All right, here's ARRL's website. You can watch a video on ham radio here. You can watch this video. Here's another video. And here's some more. Here's some more young people learning the hobby, practicing. And so there's a lot of stuff on here. There's other websites you can go to get more information. So you got different links here. You got FCC license information and all that. Amateur radio in the classroom. And here's the program that's really good. This is the program. This is the website I use. Okay, so this is the website I use. So this is the link. QRZCQ. That's the link. Okay, let me put it in here for you guys so you can check it out. Okay, so once you get your amateur radio license, you can actually register on here with your call sign, and see your address shows up here from the FCC, because right now mine doesn't have the post office box on here because I don't have it in there. So there you go. And then so you can write your biography in here and all this stuff. And so basically I started amateur radio 32 years ago, September 1989. Took tech license, Ohio. Original call sign was KB8HFR. Moved to Louisiana, changed it to KC5RBA. Moved to Ohio, changed it to N8RMS. Moved to the Four Keys, September 25th, 18. Changed to Vanity Call, K4KWF. I know I'm not going to change again. I'm just going to keep that for forever. Upgraded my general license February 25th and 18. Now I'm studying for my extra as well right now. April, I just got my 50th state. DMR is active here in the Florida Keys. And there's actually a radio talk group here for the Keys. So once you do get your amateur radio, you can actually use this and you can talk to people down here in the Keys. And then I belong to the Florida Keys Amateur Radio Club. Let me open this up in another link here. And this is our club website here. Florida Keys Amateur Radio Club has a list of repeaters. So it has the list of all the repeaters you can talk on. So once you get your license, you can program your radio, talk on this. Even has all the DMR, digital mobile radio stuff. It has that on here. It has when the meetings are, where they are, and all that good stuff. And then membership, you can pay a fee each month to support the radio club. We have nets that you can talk on shortwave or the VHF repeaters or the DMR repeaters. We practice on it all, each week to make sure the system works. So we have a net. You just check in with your call sign and just say, hey, what's up? Got testing. You can actually, at our club, you can just come here, take your test, see if you pass your license. And there's a way that you can go online and search for amateur radio testing in your local area. I would find your closest radio club and check their website out. And then, of course, all the affiliations, affiliate with ARRL, all that. And then we got radio files, or they got different files on here that you can look. We got links to other things. Yeah, here's a good place for links. You got the different clubs that are nearby us. The Radio Fest or Ham Fest or whatever you call it. They call it Hamcation, like a vacation, but it's a Hamcation. And then you got the U.S. amateur radio bands. So that you click on this, it shows you all the frequency bands you can talk on amateur radio. So this is what you can talk. So here, I'll post this in there too if you guys want to look at this. So it shows you guys what frequencies you can talk on as amateur radio operator. And if you see the different colors over here on the right, see here, you got technician, general, and extra. So that's how you can. The E is extra, A is advanced, and G is general. So that's what those abbreviations are for right there. So you see right down here. So let's see, extra, advanced, general, technician. So everybody, it shows you what each band you can talk on in the different mode. Like digital mode is red, green is your voice mode, single sideband is yellow. So that shows you all that stuff. So that shows you what areas you can talk on. Let's see. There's a website called eHam you can check out. Amateur radio notes. Oh, here. Here's a link. Find an online amateur radio test station. So if you can't go somewhere, you really don't have the ability to go take your test, you can actually take it online. So, and I'll actually post this in the comments too, so you guys can click on that, check it out. If you want to go to any of those links, we'll hook you up on that. And so that's it. So that's our club there. All right. Okay. And then these are the countries I've already talked to already. So this is the DXCC is like working all the different zones in the country. Everything's divided by DXCZ zone. There's 291 zones. So if you talk to every person in the world in every zone in the world, it's 291 zones in different countries. So I've hit 65 out of the 291. So I'm working my way up. There's some amateur radio operators that's been doing this for 20, 30 years that has all 291 zones. Most of them to get that high are usually retired people. And of course you have to have expensive equipment. You have to have lots of power, big antenna, and it's easier to pick up all the weak stations. So these are all the countries I've talked to. You can see all 65 here. Canada, Geneva, Ecuador, Italy, Ireland. You can just see them all there. So. And here, this shows you what the flags look like of all the areas too. So these are all the places. And then this is shows all my amateur radio equipment that I have here. So there you go. So that's that. And then if you pay $23 a year, you can be a member. You can have the website all tricked out on here. You can build this profile up and put all this information on there. You can even put pictures on here. You can put all pictures of everything. And yeah, see, that's what my FCC address goes to, my old address. See, yeah, I don't live there no more, so that's an old QSL card. You send a card in the mail, and then they send you a card back, and you trade cards. It confirms your contact that you talk to each other and stuff like that. So yeah, so there you go. There's some nice pictures you can put on there, and then when you pay the premium service for $23 a year, you can go to this logging software here. It's called ARLog2. It's really awesome. You can just enter in the call sign right here. It brings up their details. This list shows you who's been spotted on the network there. Well, hello, Chase. How you doing, buddy? This shows you all the people that's on the air right now and that you can talk to. Like, let's say I want to talk to this guy here. And you just click on him, it pops him up over here, and then you can see where he's at. He's in Kazakhstan. Now, it's 14208. I can't talk there because I'm not an extra class, so extra can only talk there. So 225 and up is where I can talk. So when I look over here, I have to find somebody that's red. Anything that's red, I haven't talked to before. So look, this guy right here, he's red. See, I haven't talked to him before. I click on him. His name is Vladimir. Oh no. Oh, he's in Kuwait. Holy cow, Kuwait's on the air right now. So this guy's in Kuwait. He's on 14225. So if I had my radio stuff ready to go right now, I could actually talk to him right now. I mean, if he can hear me, he gives me a signal report, then I can start a conversation and save it, and then it goes down here, down in this block over here, and then all these return green, which means I've talked to all these zones. So, and that's how you do it. And so if I get out of this, cancel this, and I go down here where I've already talked to somebody, watch this. Hit cancel. Come on, Comcast, stop failing me. Okay, so let's go find somebody that I talked to recently. Where was an interesting place that I talked to recently here? So this is my logbook. These are all the people I've talked to, all the different countries I've talked to. So let's go to, let's go to Italy. Let's just go to this guy in Italy right here, this one here. So I talked to this guy in Italy, and it tells me when I talked to him too. It says I talked to him on March 12th, 2022 at 9:11. That's what time I talked to him. So see, all check mark green. He's in Italy. His name is Stefano. He's over in Europe. See there? Map shows you where he is. If he has any images on his profile like I have, it shows the image right here. So, and it shows you've talked to him and everything. So, and this logbook is amazing. This is the best way that you can log your contacts and find new contacts. And you can switch to different frequency bands. These are all the frequency bands. And it's in meters is how ham radio is. It's in meters. You go 10 meters. If you get your technician license, you can talk right now on these frequencies right here. So let's say this guy right here. Well, he's too far away, but let's see. This guy's pretty easy to hear. I think I'll probably talk to him. Well, not specifically him. He's in Brazil right now. So this guy here, Papa Tango 9 Sierra Sierra. He's in Brazil right now. Okay. He's on 10 meters, which is 28,409 megahertz. So right now, if you got your technician license, you got a dipole hanging between two trees, you hook it to your 100-watt radio, you go on here right now, you could probably talk to this guy, and he would hear you in Brazil, because the frequency bands are good. You click this, it shows you the results of the frequency bands. Look, 0 to 10 megahertz is fair, 10 to 20 is normal, 20 to 30 is normal, and see, 28 is where we're at here. So right now, we got conditions into Brazil, and you could talk it to Brazil. So just as a technician, you can get involved in amateur radio and talk on these frequencies. Then when you get your general license, then you can talk on 12-meter band. And look, there's somebody in Australia right now, 15-meter band. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got activity over there. This guy here, where's he at? Oh, he's in Kuwait. So we got Kuwait talking on 21 megahertz. See there? 17 meters. Look, we got Japan. You could talk to Japan right now if you have your general class license right now. You can go on 18135 and talk to Japan. And I've talked to Japan already. So I got that country. So, and then 20 meters was one of the hottest bands to talk on, because it's kind of like halfway down between the nighttime bands and halfway during the daytime bands. Kind of halfway. And when the sun goes crazy, these all go crazy. And then you got... Oh, not that one. 30 meter band right here. This is only digital only. You can only talk on this with Morse code. So that's why that's kind of empty. So that's kind of like a pointless band. And then this is your first nighttime band. Well, I got SSTV on here. All right, so then you got all these. So on this is 7 megahertz. So right now Australia's in here right now. This guy here, VK4. Yep. Derek in Australia, 7.144 megahertz. So if you had your general license, you could talk to him right now. And then you go on down. 60 is just a very low capacity band. There's only like 5 channels you can talk on. A couple of them are digital, a couple of them are voice. So that's not very good. But then 80 is the other band that's a really good band. Of course, like right now, it's not very good because the sun's going crazy. It kind of wipes out that band. Here in a little bit, it might get a little bit better. And that's down on 3 megahertz is where that's really far down. And then when you go down to 160 megahertz, then that's down by the AM radio bands down there. So that's really low down there. It's like 1 megahertz. You know, your AM radio stations is from 600 to 1200, I think, right? 600 kilohertz to 1200 kilohertz is, and so 1.2 megahertz is what it would be. So this band 160 is 1.6 1.8 megahertz. So there, that shows you the band, that shows you what's on. And then if I wanted to report, if I hear somebody on the radio, then what I do is I just click this little thing here, this little spot button here. I put the call sign that I heard, the frequency I heard, and then what were remarks, like where he's at. You can do that. So you can spot people for others to go and find. Or you can just tune across the radio band. When you hear somebody, then you can spot them for the first time. They show up on this list. And that's how that works. And this logging program is amazing. You can even do this on the browser on your phone. I've actually logged contacts on here. I've logged contacts on my phone. Sure have. You just go into the browser, you open this up, and I use Samsung Dex on my Jeep, and I can sit there and talk and log people in there. So it's pretty amazing. And then you can go back and you can edit your logbook. Oh, here's the map. So all these points on here, all these places with a mark on it is what I've talked to. This is the 65 country areas that I've talked to. So, you know, of course, there's more dots closer to you are because, you know, it's easier to talk closer than farther away because the signal has to bounce up in the atmosphere more. And then you can go over here. You can look at your logbook. So here, this shows you all the logbook, and this actually shows you how many contacts you have. Which I have 487 entries. Let's see if it changes when I refresh it. Yep, I got 480. So I've actually talked to 487 people on shortwave, high frequency radio, since I've gotten my license. So there you go. And let's see. I think that's about it. So, grid squares. Oh. So here I want to talk about this real quick too. The FCC is not processing new license applications right now because they changed it from being free to paid, and there is a bug in the system right now. So right now there's a delay in getting your license issued to you, even though you paid your $35. So this article is talking about that. So everybody's mad about this because now you did the hard work, you got your license, you passed your test, then now you got to wait because the FCC is so dumb they can't even have their database working properly, you know. So that's a shame that has to happen too. So, but anyways, any questions? Post your questions real quick. It's been an hour and a half. We're going to end this live stream, and then we'll make another live stream. And we're going to talk about a little bit of tech. If anybody wants to talk about tech, there's 13 people in here. So, yeah, maybe more will come in later. That's if you guys want to. If not, I'll go make some supper because I'm hungry. I'm off tonight, so I'm off tonight and tomorrow night. We got a barbecue over at Bass Pro where we're at. They're doing free barbecue for everybody, so I'm gonna get me some barbecue tomorrow over there. I'll fly the drone, have some fun. That's right. Okay, so here's a question. Okay, what are those frequencies called? Well, hello, Carlos. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, what up, bro?
You got Chase all figured out? I know he's frustrated. He wants that thing to work, man.
Well, it's he has to relocate that pole. We already figured it out. Yeah, I told him. I was like, just listen to me, man. Like, quit trying to think whatever. Just listen to me. I know what I'm doing. I installed these. I'm not gonna guide you wrong.
Oh, okay.
And
okay. Yeah, location of your antenna is like a very important thing. Yard. Yep.
Okay, so he took it out to his front. I told him, take everything outside. I was like, don't mind nothing inside the house. Screw it. Take it all outside. And stretch it all to its full capacity, all the wiring, and hook it all up together. And then, doesn't matter. Point the antenna whichever way. It don't matter. Tell me if you get a damn signal Verizon. Then out of nowhere, bro, he was like, holy crap, my phone's at 74 dB.
What?
I'm like, there you go. 74? You got interference from inside your house. Stuff's 74, dude.
Oh, crap.
74. Wow. I was able to load video. everything just
So
fine. I
so
was calling
just
them
those
and everything.
leaves
Everything
coming
was
out on
working
the trees
100%.
was knocking out the signal enough. So yeah, and see with radios,
No, what it is,
the uh-huh.
it's it's not that. What it was is he's getting interference from his inside. How do you call it? From the inside and outside antenna because it's too close. So he has to literally like I either told him I'm like one either you're gonna have to mount the Yagi on the roof on the highest point of the roof, the opposite side of the house,
Oh,
or
he had
two,
it on the
you're
highest
gonna have to
point.
take that
Yeah.
pole. No, or he has. It doesn't matter, but it's too close to his room. Way too close.
Oh,
Way
okay,
too
so
close
that's
to
what it
his room.
was. Okay.
It's only
So what he
it's
needs to
only
do
12
is
feet from
just
his
put a
room,
pole out all the
so
way
it's
out there
causing
by the
back
edge of the road
interference.
where there's no trees and get more of a line of sight
Exactly.
away
Like
from the
it,
trees
like third.
and stretch that coax all the way out to the
It's not
corner
the
of his
line of sight,
yard.
Ricky.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
basically
separate it.
he
Yeah,
just has to
separate.
get the
Yeah, I
indoor
got you.
antenna with the indoor and
I
outside
got you.
antenna to be spread. No,
Okay, I got you.
but either way, it doesn't matter where he had where he has it pointed at right now. It's good, 78 dB, and he was like loading video, everything, no problem. HD call, everything was working
Yeah, he
perfect.
popped in your live stream,
And
but
then
then we
and
lost
then
him
when
real
he
quick. So I don't know what happened. I know he's probably still trying to set it up and everything. So.
because what happened is I told him to test it, so he put everything back inside. So I told him test it out. So he put everything back inside, and then he put the inside antenna in his kitchen. But it's only giving him 93 or 90, 89 dB. So, which is still good, but it's not enough.
Yep.
Once he goes into his room, it drops signal because it's too close. The interference. I was like, bro. I was like, you got no choice. You got to relocate that pole. You got to put it out, or you got to mount the
okay.
Yagi somewhere else.
I got you.
To keep having interference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But now
There's a
now
reason
he
why
knows
the
the
coax
booster
is so
works.
long.
Everything works 100%.
Yeah, he just needs to run the cable through
100
the
feet.
yard, dig a trench in the ground in the road or under the grass so it doesn't get cut by the lawnmower. Or he can even get a plastic pipe and just run the coax through a piece of. Yeah, yeah, we do that in amateur radio all the time.
Exactly what I told
We
him.
run
I
a
was
piece
like,
of
you better
plastic
bury
pipe
that
out,
shit.
run the coax right
You
through it.
better
Yep,
bury it.
there you go. Yep, bury that sucker. Yep. Okay,
I
Mike
told him, I was
says
like, if you don't want the
RFK.
lawnmower
What
to
are
mow
those
it out,
radio
you better bury it.
frequencies called that Ace High Italy use? I don't even know what Ace High Italy is. Hi, Gene. Hello. Enjoy your supper, Ricky. Oh yeah, okay.
I think the
Not too much. All right, so does anybody have any
think
amateur
he was
radio
asking, like, what
questions before I close this live stream? Because I'm going to close this live stream and
I think
here in a couple minutes. So post a question if you have anything about amateur radio topic.
I think he was asking like the how do you call it what band is Italy on amateur radio? I think that's what he was trying to get at.
Well,
Like
there's
what
no
frequency?
specific band for. I mean, all amateur radio operators can use the same bands worldwide. Yeah, so I was just showing everybody.
Yeah, but
so
what's like the
it doesn't
what's
matter-
like the frequency?
it doesn't matter where
so
you're
what's
at.
like so like a country. So that means like let's say a person in Italy can use 5 megahertz and I can use the 5 megahertz here. Like 5.
Well, that's not the
megahertz.
ideal. That's not the ideal band to use. But yeah, you got to pick a band that's
Well,
available in both
I'm
countries.
just throwing numbers. I'm just throwing numbers.
Yeah, for example, like if you wanted to talk
Oh.
on 9345, which or 3945, it's 3.945 megahertz. So if the person in Italy goes there and then I go there, yeah, you can talk to each other. Or we can go on 7175. We could talk there. Or we can go on 14.225.
Oh, okay.
As long as both countries. And you got to pick the radio
you
band that
basically gotta do
matches
some
the
homework.
radio propagation. Yeah, you got to know what the radio propagation is doing too. So if you don't have propagation is just bending of the radio waves. The radio leaves my antenna. It goes up in the atmosphere. It bounces back to Earth. It hits the ground. It bounces back up in the air. It's like a ping pong ball. So basically picture this. Amateur radio is basically a ping pong.
Yeah.
Your paddle is your radio. The ball is the radio waves, okay? So you take it, you smack the ping pong ball, and it goes down to the table. It hits the table. It bounces up, and it goes over the net and goes down, and then it bounces down on the other side. Pretend like the table is the sky. You got to invert it because that's the hard surface. The sky is the hard surface that reflects the radio waves. You got the sky and you got the ground. That's the two. So basically it's like playing ping pong with two tables. A table on the bottom, a table on the top. So the signal bounces between both of them and goes down the other side. And a ping pong table is flat. The earth is round. So basically you're playing on a round ping pong table. So because as the propagation goes up and down, it goes around the other side of the earth. Because the radio waves bounce between earth and the sky, and it's round. You see, it goes around the earth, so it goes back and forth, and ping pong's all back and forth. So you got to pick the frequency that ping pong's the best. If that helps you understand it. It can be complicated, but that's pretty much sums it up. Ace High Italy is a former U.S. military base. Must be you. I don't think my Comcast is working right now. U.S. military base set up to, well, you got to remember, Michael, we're talking about amateur radio tonight. So you're talking about military communications. Is completely two different things. I mean, the military does use shortwave and then upper frequencies too, the VHF, UH. They all use the same frequencies as amateur radio, but it's all different frequencies. The amateur radio can talk only what you're allowed to with them. You can use Pinocchio's nose in an antenna and reach the moon. Yeah, that's right. All right, remember, this is all ages right now. I really need to close this live stream down before it gets crazy and gets taken down. So there's everybody watching this. So, well, I mean, there's only 6 actually watching. But this is going to be on the replay, so we've got to keep this cool. So, but if there's no more amateur radio questions, I'm going to close this live stream down. And I'm going to open up another live stream like right now. Just go right back live and just, and we can talk tech and all that kind of good stuff. So if you want to tune right back in, we're going to close this down. We're going to go do the part 2 episode of the live stream. So we'll go on for another hour or so. So yeah, come back and join us if you want to come on here for another hour. Thanks for tuning in for the amateur radio portion of this live stream. So if you're interested in getting your amateur radio license, you can put your comments in this video. It'll be on live stream replay. You can put your questions in there, and I'll answer anybody's questions you got about amateur radio. So anybody needs any help, let me know. All right, so gonna let you watch a little bit of drone video while
hold on. You got no. Hold on. Before you close it out, you got to do the proper exit. Kilo whiskey, what?
Oh, Kilo 4, Kilo Whiskey Foxtrot. Yeah.
Over and out.
over and out. 10-4. Roger.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Do it right. Amateur radio style.
All right, here we go. Enjoy the drone video. We'll see you in a few minutes. As soon as this closes out, we're going to go live again here. We'll talk some wireless tech for a couple hours, maybe, probably. So, all right, we'll see you here in a few minutes. Deuces.